Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sounds of the Hardwood podcast. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the hot start of the Golden State Warriors and the Washington Wizards, the investigation of the NBA on the Bulls and Heat tampering situation, and I guess you want to call it off court Twitter beef now between the Morris brothers and the Jokic brothers. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good, man. Glad to
Good,
be
man.
back.
Good. That's good. That's good.
And we got our starting five today.
Yeah, we got the first five back today. No subs. And need a haircut, though, but we'll talk about that on another.
Yeah, that's coming this week.
Yep.
Soto got the freshie. You got to join the wave.
Yeah, we got Marcus Smart back in the lineup.
Marcus Smart. I don't think he want to be Marcus Smart. Shooting 25% from the field. I don't want anyone to think he's going to do that.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I had no problem with his comments, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, you wasn't here for that one where you got to air that out.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
But I'm gonna let you go first. Let you welcome you back. I'm gonna put you right in the starting five. I ain't gonna bring you off the bench. You right in the starting five.
All
so
right.
you can start us off with our Warriors and Wizards hot starts.
Man. The Wizards shocked me. I didn't expect this hot start from the Warriors. I won't say I'm surprised. I figured they had a light schedule. A light first, I want to say 15, 20 games. Wasn't too bad. But the Wizards, we got to see them twice early on as the Celtics, and when I say we, and I was like, damn, this team actually getting Spence was good. That might even be the key to having Bradley Beal stay because people slept on him and forgot who he was before he got hurt, which we understand, which always happens when people get hurt. Same thing happened to KD and everybody else. Murray's going to go through it when he comes back. And then when you come back and you start killing, people are like, oh, he's back to who he was. And it's like, well, you guys didn't give him a chance, before he got hurt. So, like, show that he could be that guy. So they threw the bag at him. And so far, I know it's early, though, but it's panning out because he's a big guard, which people forget. That's kind of what the league's going to. They're going to big guards. I mean, you still have your Trays and your Stephs and stuff, but big guards is the way to go. He's a big guard two-way, and he's running the offense. And it's not like Bradley Beal has to run like he was doing last year, has to run the offense and give you points. And now he's just, all right, bet he can bring the ball up. Let me go get loose. Go, pin down screens, whatever, baseline screens, go get the ball. He's free to catch and shoot. They're getting Trez is killing it like he always does. Undersized big, but he's the glue guy. He's doing what he has to do. And then the rest of the pieces are just falling in. They're just clicking right now. And that's what's scary. When it's a team that basically has nothing to lose, those are the teams that kind of creep up and smack teams in the face here and there. And you're like, damn, well, they're up on this team and they're up on, you're like, wow, they're messing up all the odds and all the people in their parlays. Like, yo, I didn't expect the Wizards to win this game, but they're winning by 20 or they're winning by 15. So that Wizards hard start shocked me, but the Warriors didn't surprise me as much because I figured they're gonna go as far as Steph Curry kind of takes them, and Steph is on that 2015 like evil look in his eye, no guard in front of me can guard me. I'm pulling from half court for fun. They got him shooting, looking the other way again. It's scary. And this is all without Klay Thompson and James Wiseman. It's like, bro, with Klay, it's not going to really be a problem to have him fit back into the system. So it's just like how good and how healthy is James Wiseman going to be when he gets back. But the fact that Jordan Poole's killing it, Gary Payton II's killing it, like, bro, they just got chemistry. Like, I don't know what happened this offseason. I don't know if they were doing private workouts or whatever, but they have a crazy chemistry that a lot of teams, I mean, to throw out your Lakers, you thought as vets they would have that off rip because they're vets. You think they were already established roles and stuff. That's what's killing teams early this season. They don't have chemistry like that. And I think that's why the Warriors are sneaking away with these wins early, which is going to help them in the seeding later on because everybody knows there's games here and there where you mark them like we should win this game, and they're winning those games. That win versus the Bulls the other night was big for them. I think that was their first real test, and they passed. I mean, Curry went crazy. I think he had, 9 threes that game. So shout out to both those teams, man. But I would say the Wizards more because they really surprised me, especially in the East that we thought was going to be more tight than what it what it is. Like Milwaukee struggling. Pete already talked to me about Boston. They're struggling. Brooklyn, we seen them struggling too.
Atlanta.
Atlanta's
been
but yeah.
Called it.
Terrible.
Yeah, you
That
did.
Nate McMillan effect. That second year, you get that voice they drown out in the locker room. That's what happens.
Yeah. You did mention that before. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. It's happened to every team he's been on, from Portland to Indiana to now.
Yep. Seattle too. I remember that.
He just got no faith in Nick McMillan whatsoever.
No, I mean,
He
I just
doesn't.
think
You
that
can hear
just
it in
his
his voice.
voice, his voice though for the locker room, because you're going to tell a team that's supposed to run quick to slow it down. Like your best options, Collins at the 5, run the floor, have shooters all around, and they don't do it. But that's another topic. But on going to, let's see, I'll start with the Wizards. So last year they were 29th in the league in defense. This year they are 4th. They've had 5 out of their last 12 games. They've held opponents under 100 points. To have a team with Kyle Kuzma as your starting 4 to hold a team under 100 points, that's an accomplishment. So I'm going to go ahead. I had to get my former Lakers slander out, for the podcast. Got to do it at least once a podcast, because you always hit me about I should be an Atlanta fan, so I got to throw the former Lakers slander out there.
Fair trade off.
Yeah. So I think, like Ant said, Spencer Dinwiddie's kind of the engine that's really kind of improved the offense, just obviously from a playmaking standpoint, just kind of having a veteran presence there to know where to get guys in the proper spots, and to think that, Bradley Beal's not at his best either. And unfortunately, I think it's his grandma passed away.
It was, yeah.
And so prayers to him and his family, for that. But not having Bradley Beal in the lineup last year would have been a detriment across the board. They would have got blown out. Now it's not that bad, because you've got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope able to defend on the wing. Like I said, Kuzma, all jokes aside, he is defending on offense. He's more than just a spot up guy. He's able to make kind of plays in the mid range. He's rebounding well. And then Montrezl Harrell has proven that, he last year was kind of just a down year for him, that, if you put him in the right role again, that he can succeed. So good for them. Because I had them fighting for the play-in. I didn't have them off to a hot start, and they're doing all this without Rui Hachimura as well, who knows when he's coming back.
Good point.
And
soon. They said soon.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I know it's personal reasons, but I don't know exactly what,
And also have
what's going on.
Deni Avdija for the whole year, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Golden State, Ann pretty much touched on everything as far as they go. They're just killing opponents. Basically almost 100 points more than opponents actually over 100 points more in the third quarter by average. And they're always leading at halftime, which is good. And then when you got Steph Curry shooting a shot halfway as the shot's going up, he turns around and points to the crowd. Come on. How are you gonna do anything with that? And then you can get a relatively healthy Clay back. I say bring him off the bench for a little while, let him get acclimated back to the lineup, get his rhythm back, get his timing on defense back. And then Wiseman, all he has to do now is just run the floor and get lobs and play a little bit of defense, and they're okay. Just the defense has been the biggest surprise to me for the Warriors. But kudos to them for the start, because I kind of had them 5th or so in the West, and to start like this, even though it's been an easier schedule, it's still,
eighth weakest is what it would be.
Yeah, you still got to look at just that margin of offense. Even if it wasn't an easy schedule, I still think that, beating teams by that much as far as the third quarter goes and things like that, like other teams aren't going to make that back up based on the way that teams are kind of, I wouldn't say misfiring this year, but it just seems like some of the teams we expected to have hot starts either have had injuries or their team just isn't gelling as well as people anticipated. So good for them.
Got you.
Yeah, for me, I mean, to talk about it, yeah, I'll just wait. I'm going to make sure everybody's done with their point before, interjecting. I'll go in reverse. I guess I'll go. I'll talk about the Warriors first. Yeah, I mean, they've been playing great. It's a lot of team ball, a lot of ball movement. Curry's been ridiculous. I mean, I was watching the game when he pointed, and I was just like, I already knew it. I was just like, oh crap, this man's gonna just call every shot the whole game. He's gonna be basically the Babe Ruth of basketball, just calling shots and making it just like nothing. Yeah, Jordan Poole is playing out. I think he's averaging like 17 or 18 a game. Wiggins, I was watching the game the other day when he destroyed Towns on those 2 dunks, which was insane. I was just like, oh my God. He was like, yeah, you regret trading me now. But yeah, keep it short and simple. Warriors playing good. Getting Clay back, I do agree that he should be eased into the lineup because just want to avoid re-aggravating any injuries. Obviously, he's coming off for torn ACL and an Achilles, which are probably 2 of the deadliest injuries to come back from basketball. Especially having it back-to-back is very difficult. I look at somebody like DeMarcus Cousins as being one that had those injuries like that. So I'm not saying that's like a sort of an outlier for it, but I do know it's not easy to come back into form. But obviously Clay is at a different position, so the wear and tear in the body might not be as much as it was for him, as Cousins, as it is for him. To touch on the Wizards, yeah, I think having a change of pace, taller point guard is good. Dinwiddie was good with the Nets. He always had a lot of potential, even when he was with the Pistons. They just never really, I guess, played him. But same thing with Middleton. Middleton was sort of like a nobody with the Pistons, and then he came out of nowhere. So, I mean, Detroit, man, I feel bad for Detroit, but Detroit doesn't have the best talent evaluation because, man, they struck out with those 2. But, I mean, they got Killian Hayes, though. But let's not get into that, man. No, Washington's been playing good. Harrell's back. I think he's averaging like 19 a game, 18, 19 a game. So he's playing like he was basically when he was with the Clippers. Kuzma's surprising. Not going to do the Kuzma slander, obviously, but we always knew the potential.
Kuzma's surprising to you. I don't know why.
No, that's not surprising, but I mean, I think he has less pressure being in LA, being 1. And 2, I think it's Wes Unseld, just like the type of coach he was and getting the best out of his players and different things like that. I think that's a difference maker too. He's averaging 15 and 9 rebounds. I don't even think he averaged that many rebounds when he was the Lakers per game, to be honest with you. Of course, you got Bradley Beal and everybody else, but that team is just they're playing like a team that has 1 superstar and a bunch of other really good players serving their role. So I do hope that they continue the success because I think a lot of the teams that everybody was expecting to do well are sort of slipping and falling a little bit and trying to find their identity. And I think that's a big thing in basketball. You got to find that comfort spot and that sweet spot. And I think those 2 teams got it right now.
Gotcha. What you got set up?
So with the Wizards and the Warriors, it's kind of like they have a lot of things in common. And one of them is that they're both playing elite defense. With, both teams, if you put them in the category, they're in the top 5 in almost everything. And I think the biggest positive thing that you can take from both from having a hot start is the amount of depth that they have. With the Warriors, with not only Clay, but also, Wiseman coming back soon. So they're probably going to be at full 100%. Plus, if they really wanted to, they do have the assets to make a big trade. So that's something just to keep an eye for. And, with the Warriors so far in the 12 games that they played, they're 11-1,
11-1.
11-1. They absolutely love the third quarter. It's something about the third quarter that is just like they just go beast mode. And with that third quarter and with their elite defense, that's what triggers the offense. So, you're seeing Curry is was averaging 32 points per game. Now he's averaging 25. But it's just the little things that his assists are up, his rebounding is up. So it's just like he's not only looking out for himself, he's looking for others. And that's why they have like 4 players who are scoring double digits on a nightly basis. With the Wizards, I didn't see this coming at all. Same with Pete. I thought either playing tournament or even missing the playoffs. But they had a couple of impressive wins. To start off the season. I'm not fully sold on them because most of their opponents were they had a pretty weak schedule. So I'm trying to see what they look like next month. Well, in December, where everything starts picking up for them. But really similar to the Warriors, they have Kuzma. Now I'm not gonna knock Kuzma. I think Kuzma shown flashes last year that if he played in another team, he can ball out. The only thing that was rough on Kuzma is just that he was very inconsistent, but he's finding his consistency with the Wizards. And then when it comes to Harrell, it kind of seems like he's been performing just like when he won the Sixth Man of the Year. And he's going back to to that game. Like Pete said last year, I personally believe so. It was just a down year. But with the Washington has excellent depth. And not only are they expecting Hachimura back, I think down the line they're also probably getting Thomas Bryant back. So those are 2 key players that can definitely help them if they make a playoff run. So with the Warriors again. So with the Wizards, I'm not fully sold, but I am surprised on the way they've been performing. Dinwiddie has been great. So, and then, yesterday, Nobile. So everyone stepped up. So, which was nice to see. And, we'll see what happens.
Got you. Pretty much I've covered every point with both situations with both the Warriors and the Wizards. So I really just got mostly opinion things because you mostly have covered all the key points for both of those teams. I'm not surprised by the Warriors because their schedule hasn't been that challenging. If you get the Thunder twice in a schedule to start off the season, what pretty much, and most of their games have been at home. So role players are going to play better at home. And then their schedule hasn't been that hard. So they've had the ability to come in and say, okay, we could just see what we have with our team. And they've played well. Poole has played well. Wiggins has played well. Gary Payton II has played well. And Curry has been able to dominate. He hasn't really had a marquee matchup in a game other than John Morant. Basically, most games going in is pretty much the person guarding Curry. That's not even a challenge for him. Even Trae Young wasn't a challenge for him. I was just out there. It looked like he was playing tutoring at this point. It's like, okay, this is cute. This is supposed to be the mini-me. So I'm just going to have some fun. We're going to smack the Atlanta Hawks. The Wizards are a surprise because they were a bad team last year. So to even say they had a bad schedule, well, they were kind of at that level last year. So the teams that they got, this is kind of what we thought they were on that level as. Kuzma is not a surprise because I did say I thought he was going to play like how he played before the Lakers got LeBron, because when LeBron got there, how he had to play was completely different. Kuzma's not a spot-up three-point shooter. He's more of a get it and make his own play. With LeBron, he was a spot-up three-point shooter. Harrell, he pretty much said it himself. He's actually getting on the court. There were games where I would yell at the TV and go, why is Montrezl Harrell not in the game? Frank Vogel would put, I don't know who the backup center was at that time, but sometimes I'd see Drummond in the game like that. Can you just go to Harrell, stop putting Drummond in the game?
Marcus Gasol.
Yeah, there you go. See, I forgot he was on. No disrespect to Marcus Gasol, I just completely forgot he was on the team. That's how bad he was. But there would be times where I thought he should have put Trez in the game. They put Marcus Gasol up there to go 1 for 45 on the 3-point line.
You hear that,
So
Memphis? I'm just gonna let Memphis fans know
it
you
made more
slandered them.
sense. Hey, they know he was washed at that point in time. That's why they traded him away for nothing. They know he was done at that point in time. So it didn't make any sense to me. The Nets right now are regretting not keeping Spencer Dinwiddie. And that's not a slight with Kyrie with the vaccine COVID situation. I'm just saying, when you looked at that team, they needed a backup point guard. There is no reason why I'm letting Spencer Dinwiddie walk for nothing when my backup point guard is, I don't even know who is that backup point guard.
Patty Mills.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You talking about for
The
Brooklyn?
Nets, yeah, Brooklyn. Is
Oh
it
yeah, it's Patty Mills.
Patty Mills, yeah. So you should have kept Spencer Dinwiddie because you'd be able to keep afloat with him playing the starting point guard spot right now. Now they're playing better, yes, but it would have been easier if you said you had Spencer Dinwiddie, but they chose to let him go. So great addition, great hire by the Washington Wizards because he's had an impact, and hopefully both teams can maintain. It's not a letdown when this season, because then we'll look dumb, right? Because then we'll say, "Oh, they're saying so good," and then like a month later, the Washington Wizards be bottom of the East, and be like, "Damn!" Like the Knicks, Soto and Henry, sold my shit. Got off to a hot start. And now the Knicks want to lose because they want to play ISO Randall. But I'll save that for another time because I'm tired of watching Randall
You
do
can.
a spin move into a double team and turn the ball over. I want to break my TV.
I'm just gonna add one thing to your little comment though. It hasn't only been Randall lately. It's been a lot of other people too.
Well,
A lot of inconsistency.
Fournier be on the
around.
bench by halftime, so I don't even think he's on the team at this
Barrett's
point.
not shooting well either.
Yep.
and
There's a lot
Barrett's
going
not
on. That's why I'm going to say that.
Oh
It's
my
not only
God.
Randall this time; it's the whole team in general.
Well,
But I'll save that for another day.
Tibbs need to go back to Florida practices. This days off shit ain't working. Y'all out here looking like the worst team in the league.
Well, the defense has slipped, which is it's a defense first coach. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's terrible. But what you should have done, what the Knicks should have done, they should have followed the playbook out of the Bulls and the Heat. You know what I mean? They should have finessed themselves some superstars. So when y'all wanted to get Kyrie and KD,
I don't want no $10 million fine. I'm good. I'm good.
you should have tampered to get yourself those three players somehow, some way. Maybe that's what you need to do. You need to call up Damian Lillard's agent now, like, all right, yo, bro, fake this injury for like a month, and then let the Trailblazers get the worst record in the league, and then we can trade him and get him on the Knicks, and he could ball out again now that he's 100% healthy. So the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat are in somewhat of hot water. We don't know what the discipline is going to be when the NBA concludes the investigation, but they have moved forward with that investigation, which is not good for the Miami Heat or Chicago Bulls, revolving their trade of Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry. So my question is, do you think there's something here? And if there's something here, what do you think the league should do to these two teams and moving forward with trying to prevent tampering situations?
There's something there, obviously.
I'm gonna start off with Big Tone over there. Let's see.
Yeah, come on, buckets. Yeah, come on, buckets.
At first, when this came out, what was that, in the summer? I didn't think there was anything there because I thought it would have caught more traction already. And then I think it was yesterday or the day before, I'd seen something on Twitter about it. It was trending, and I was like, "Oh,
it was Woj. She dropped.
Woj, yeah." I was like, apparently there is something there. I mean, unfortunately, there's not much to read on it at the moment because nothing really came out, which that's how it always works, right? But what do I think probably happened? I don't know. Maybe they had early contact. Maybe a player on the team had early contact to try to recruit them or something. I don't know. I really don't know what the Heat could have done, but I know they were on the Bulls getting Lonzo. Like, that already had some traction early at first, and it died down and it picked back up. But from what I looked at and seen, that it could be like heavy fines. Like, we're talking about like millions of dollars that they would lose.
10 million.
Yeah, and then
each
picks.
Team. Yep.
And something else. I forget what the third thing was.
Suspension of executives.
Yeah. So when I seen that, I was like, oh, they really have. Yeah. I was like, they must really have some deep info, like some really good attorneys on this, because I'm just like, they're what? The halfway point
They got
not the halfway point, but the 1/4 point of the season. These two teams were doing well. They're still doing well. They had a few losses lately, but they're still doing well. And it's like, all right, now you want to hit the team with all this crap now. When if you had all this info before, you could have hit them with it right when it happened. And maybe these trades don't, or these signings don't happen, and whatever. So it's just kind of with me. It's kind of like they are where they are. You're not gonna recant the signing. You can't do that. You're not gonna take these players away from the teams. Who cares? Like, let that crowd go on behind the scenes. To me, when this stuff happens, I don't really look into it because it's not going to affect them now. And if the Bulls were trash like they were last year, then the picks obviously affect them. The Heat are never trash. They're always well coached and always have those guys that just fit that culture. So it's like, I don't think it's going to, whatever happens, it's not going to hurt. The punishment isn't going to really hurt this team like Soto did in the camera. It's just like, oh, like whatever. They're going to wipe their hands with it and keep it pushing.
Got you. Have any ideas of the league trying to prevent this stuff? Or you figure it's just hard to?
I don't know. It's just pretty like hard. It's like I feel like 10 million isn't enough, and as hard as that, as weird as that sounds.
I think that's because of the CBA, though. I think that's.
I feel like if you're gonna tamper and you get caught, I feel like you should be stripped of your assets. So draft picks is definitely definitely one to consider. I don't think you're not going to be able to avoid any contract. I mean, now if this was still like during free agency, then I can see, okay, all right, avoid the contract or avoid whatever. But 10 million I think for them is just like a slap on the wrist. Maybe if you lose your draft picks for that for that year, maybe that can help prevent, but that's something that I believe it's going to go it's going to be ongoing. I don't really know like what else I can possibly think of, to be honest with you, because it's like it's just not enough there. I mean, like a suspension, to executives, like what is that going to do? It's like, all right, I'll go find myself another one, So
I get you. Henry, what you got?
I mean, yeah, I agree with Soto. I know obviously they can't go more than 10 mil because of the CBA. That's what they agreed to or whatever. But loss of assets, I know teams have done tampering before. I look at, I believe it was last year when the Sixers had the Bogdanovic tampering. They lost, I think they lost the draft pick, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks. I'm saying, with Bogdanovic. Yeah, he's on the Hawks now, but they lost a draft pick from what I'm mistaken. I'm not sure if they were fined or not, but obviously they can get caught. Then if you look at another situation, either going further, I know you can get contracts voided from what I remember, because I remember Joe Smith, the worst probably number one pick, had his contract voided by the Timberwolves. They had an under the table agreement where he would sign 3 1-year deals with them so they could acquire his bird rights and then sign him to a max deal, which was at that time only $86 million, which is crazy because the deals now are like above $250 million. But so the NBA voided that and said, no, we're not doing that. But do I think that there was some contact going on? Definitely, because a lot of these deals, including with the Pelicans and everybody else, all these teams, they supposedly say, oh, yeah, we were talking before the trade deadline about this and all this and whatnot. But within the first 6 minutes, you have all these blockbuster deals going down. 6 minutes. So obviously they were probably talking before. If they would have did like 30 minutes an hour, I could say, okay, cool. But for them to do it within the first 6 minutes of free agency was sort of stupid and sort of a big red flag. And for them to think that they were going to get away with it, I mean, like, I agree with Soto in a sense. At that point, they should have said, okay, the trades are voided. You can't do it again. These players can't go to this team this year. I mean, they should have did that if they really wanted to make an impact. I think now, like, just allowing the players to stay on the team and then just giving them a $10 million fine, which these owners, and most of them are billionaires, is basically just nothing. It's like a parking ticket to them. So I'm serious. And losing the draft picks, I mean, if you're thinking about it in Miami sense and And the Bulls sense what, late 20s if they make the playoffs and make a deep run. I mean, I'm not saying that they can't be impact players at late 20s because Jimmy Butler was 20 something pick and he's been an impact player. But I mean, the direction these teams are going, they're sort of like win now. So a late draft pick might not hurt them. But if the NBA wants to be smart with it, I think they should make it a couple future draft picks, make them feel the repercussions of it. Just don't make it, oh, you're going to forfeit next draft's first round draft pick. No, you want to tamper, take the next 3 years of draft picks from them. Then let's see if they tamper again, 3 or 4 years. I mean, I agree. It got to be harsher. 10 million in loss of draft pick for one season. It's not going to do absolutely nothing because it didn't hurt the Bucks. It didn't hurt. It doesn't have, honestly, even back in the day with Joe Smith thing, it didn't hurt Minnesota either. So, I mean, let's be honest, like make it something. If you want to have a CBA, like Adam Silver says, he wants to have a fair CBA for teams to keep superstars, stop requesting trades, do all this and do all that. Make the owners and the executive accountable too. If you want to do tampering, take away 5 years of draft picks from them. Then see how fast teams stop trying to tamper. Void the contracts. Look, they voided a trade for Chris Paul to the Lakers years ago. They voided Joe Smith's contract. You can void a trade too.
I get you. She got Pete.
I think the Lowry deal was already kind of the framework was already there from the trade deadline. They just kind of pushed it through. So that one I wasn't as worried about. It's the Lonzo deal because the agent tweeted out 20 seconds into free agency. It's like, come on, dude, how stupid are you going to be? Like, you couldn't have waited like 3-4 minutes and then they would have been like, oh, okay, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's probably something there, but we can't really touch it. But 20 seconds in, come on. And even though it was rumored that Lonzo was going there, that just doesn't look good at all. So I expect definitely the Bulls to get hit with something, the Pelicans to get hit with something, heavier dose of fines.
Raptors too. Yeah, they're in that too.
Yeah, but the Raptors and the Heat, like that's a separate. I just don't see that being that. Even if they get fined, it's like here's a $10,000 fine. I just don't see that one being as crucial to find something like under the table because they can say like, hey, look, like we had already talked previous. Like it's not like the Bulls where it's like, oh, well, they have this cap space and all of a sudden like a deal's not going to come together 20 seconds in. Like True. It's just not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like they were definitely talking before.
I think that they're going to get the harshest of a draft pick or two taken away. The highest levied fine amount could be $250,000 to the organization. And then the stripping of the draft picks, whether, it's a couple draft picks or not. And then possible suspension of the front office members that were involved in it. I think that goes the harshest penalty for Chicago and the Pelicans. For the Pelican side, it might do them some good to have David Griffin sit on the sidelines a little bit, but never know.
What are they 1-12 now?
Oh man, it's just I don't get it. But
maybe they'll fire him over this. Maybe this is the thing that they need to get rid of.
Probably not.
I see him stepping down first before they end up firing him because I think that he knows he's going to end up getting fired. He'll step down. So it's a kind of that saving grace kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see a lot coming from the Heat. I guess we'll know sometime this week from what it sounded like. But moving forward, I think that written in the CBA needs to have a harsher penalty as far as agent communication goes with teams specifically, and then the players, because the players sometimes tweet stuff out too, and it's like, all right, you ain't slick. Like you kind of knew that before it was coming, and they'll say, oh, well, we were talking about something totally different. It's like, no, what team you're going to or whatever beforehand. So a harsher fine penalty, I think, is about the rate they can go. Bump it up to a $1 million, like a $1 million fine per organization if you're caught tampering or whatever, something like that. That's harsh.
I don't know if they'll do 10. You think they'll do 10?
Probably not.
I don't know, because I don't think they've had a harsh enough thing since Joe Smith. I think that locked a lot of teams down. Where it's like, oh man, like the Minnesota was dumb enough to put this down on paper, like. Really? Like,
what about
why would you write a contract down and sit it in a desk drawer?
Well,
Like,
my
I
thing
guess
is-
that's the difference between the 90s and now, but
Yeah,
because
what
now
about
you
the
have all
draft
those
earlier?
apps that vanish and stuff like that when you text and you can't
Yeah.
get back. And
No, you can
so
still
it
get it.
could be a
There's
little
ways to
more
get it back.
strategic.
There's ways to get it back. That's always a. That's one thing I learned just working in the school system. There's always a trail. Like they say, Snapchat has disappeared. No, they don't. But for me, I
Mhm.
think they should. Like I agree, Pete. I think they should have harsher things in the CBA. And I think one that'll deter a lot of tampering is really make them lose a lot of draft picks. I'm not talking about second round picks because a lot of teams trade that like it's nothing. I'm talking about first round draft picks, multiple years, not 1 or 2 years, because that's not going to
Yeah,
hurt.
that's why I said like take away their assets. You know,
Take away their assets. Take away if they can manage to get 3 to 5 years of their assets taken away, then the team and the executives are going to be like, oh shit, let's
Imagine
not
if it automatically voided the trade, though. Like, say it's a sign and trade, say it automatically, like, once the findings are voided, like, say I took the extreme of,
yeah.
all right, we have to void this trade. And, like, obviously, it's later into this, or not late in the season, but it's already into the season. So, voiding the trade and Lonzo goes back to the Pelicans and all that, like that, it would be a mess. But, like,
Yeah.
you know,
that's a bit extreme, but you know what?
there
Like,
would be a cap of
hilarious.
like, all right, you have up until training camp to file a motion, and if the motion is granted as far as the penalty, then it's like, all right, this trade is voided, sign and trade is voided or whatever, and the players must report somewhere else, or another deal has to be constructed with a different team. That totally throws teams off because they've already done their free agency and the draft. And so it's like, oh man, now we got to scramble and make this deal. And
That'll
like,
mess up.
yeah,
That'll mess
like
up
they've
Pelicans
already
numbers.
made moves like ahead, like thinking about the future and whatnot.
but I'm saying it would help because
But
it would push off agents because then they wouldn't have any incentive because then it's messing with their money,
Yes.
the players' money, and their playing time is messed with, and then the organizations are all mixed up and messed with. So it's a worst case scenario, but still.
The only thing I could like compare it to is college basketball has a similar problem because there's technically a live period that starts, but most people know schools contact kids all year round.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's a period of time where the NCAA says a coach can go out and watch kids play, it's understood that these schools will contact these kids any point in time during the school year and during their school seasons. I think the NBA needs to adjust to the time period and understand that the free agency period is now a whole NBA season. You have to kind of treat it like coaches. How a coach can be offered a job if he gets permission from that respected NBA team that they work for. If you said, okay, I got a player on my team who I know is unhappy, he's expressed he's unhappy, okay, I will allow teams to start talking with his agent about potential deals.
Yeah.
That way now I can say, okay, I know Lonzo Ball is leaving. He came to me and said, I don't want to be here no more. I'm leaving. I gave his agent permission to start to talk to teams about potential deals. Then now the Pelicans are not sitting there going, oh, we didn't know. What happened? You had the whole year to plan now that Lonzo's not coming back. I can go now look and see what other point guards are going to be available this free agency that I can make a move for.
I think that's a good idea, but I think to counter that, Keem, it's going to open up Pandora's box for other sports to implement that, and that doesn't work for other sports because baseball and all these other sports have these weird cap things.
Concerning with other sports, I'm talking about the NBA.
I'm saying, but the NBA does. The NBA does it. It's going to set a precedent. I'm telling you.
Right now, you're talking about a tampering for a deal, 2 deals that were made during the year. Kyle Lowry being traded from the Raptors, like Pete said, that deal was supposed to happen at the All-Star break.
Oh yeah, we knew that. That's why I said they had supposedly framework.
Lonzo Ball deal, we started talking about on a podcast. He was thinking about not coming back to the Pelicans.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this is not something that the Toronto Raptors and the New Orleans Pelicans were sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so confused. They want to leave? No, they knew.
Right. So it's just where the Bulls come in.
If you say that the Raptors could have gave permission to Chicago to talk to Kyle Lowry, then now Toronto can go and say, okay, we needed a point guard. They already have their point guard. It's Van Fleet. They already knew who they're replacing Kyle Lowry with. Now the Pelicans could go, okay, we're losing Lonzo. If we want to go get a bad point guard like Reggie Jackson and pay him like we did Bledsoe, knock yourself out.
Hey,
But
Reggie Jackson's
if you
actually
wanna
playing good. Reggie Jackson's actually playing good. You gotta stop that slander right now.
If you want to do that, then you knock yourself out. Go do it.
My
Or you
man's
want to
averaging
make
24
Nickel
points per
Alexander
game.
the starting point guard to be.
All right, now
consistent?
you go with that one.
Nah,
That was better.
I get what Keem's saying. I get where you're going, and if you think about it, it would be more fair to the players because GMs, coaches, teams do this all the time. For example, look what the Thunder did with Al Horford. They couldn't get a deal with him for All-Star break, so they were like, you know what, we're not gonna even really play you second half of the season. You know, we're dead last, we're not winning games, we're just gonna let you rest up, whatever. And what's that tell you? He's gone. He's gonna be gone. At something either from a trade or the buyout, something.
But they didn't tamper. That's the thing. They just
I'm saying. But what Keem's saying is to start going this route and just let players whatever do what they're gonna do, because kind of it's what they do to players when they want to. Look what happened. Look what's going on at Sacramento with Bagley.
I get it, but
it's terrible.
But for me,
it's terrible. Why is he not on the rotation? Why is he not playing?
Luke Walton sucks as a coach.
It breaks out that he's not.
That's what it comes down to. Like, and then we're gonna play around, and
true. And then a week later, they try to sub him in during like
Luke is a Laker.
Poo time, and he's like, "Bro, I don't want to go in the game now. Like now you want to sub me in now that it leaked that I'm not in the rotation and all that.
Oh, put me in the game when I'm ice cold and haven't played in 3 weeks.
Saying is, if we look at what Keem's saying is, if we see teams do this to players all the time, even Boston with Kemba, what they do, they just play them every other game for the whole second half of the season when he came back, but he was healthy when he came back, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And then Kemba didn't like that, and he was very vocal about that. And what's that mean? Okay, we know he's gonna either be gone or we're gonna. It just happens all the time to players. So players kind of already know what they're gonna do. It's gonna happen. You're gonna chit chat. I mean, shoot, we all can sit here and say, no matter how good the Wizards do, we know Bill's gonna pick up a call from Tatum if Tatum tries to recruit him to Boston next year. We know that.
I'm surprised we didn't mention Kawhi recruiting PG.
Exactly. It happens. It happens, man.
My thing is
he asked the Clippers to trade for him.
Exactly. So what Keem's saying is catch up with the times. We're in a different era where nothing's secret of no more. Social media controls everything. As you like Pete said, 20 seconds into it, boom. We knew Lonzo was going to the Bulls. The whole Heat situation, it should have happened during the break.
Well, that was his agent being an idiot.
We're not gonna sit here also ignore the fact that LeBron turns into Le Scout during All-Star weekend.
LeBron's always a Le Scout.
He's already on the phone with Dame.
He's already on like 3-way conversations.
Yeah, and the only reason why it's not tampering is because it didn't fall through, and Dame want to be loyal and not bit him in the ass at the moment.
Let Chris Paul be involved in it, it's going to fall through.
It's also because it's LeBron James. He's the face of the NBA. So I mean, but the only counter I'm going to say to that is I agree that they should have some stuff. Like the only thing I think that it won't happen in any sport is because I think it just opens up that Pandora's box that you don't want to open. Like for me, like when you talk about these players getting guaranteed contracts, I'm going to exclude football from here because football, they only get guaranteed money for a portion of their contract. So they're excluded. I'm talking about hockey, baseball, and basketball because all their contracts are guaranteed no matter what. If you tell them that they can negotiate with other teams if they don't want to play, the precedent you're setting is basically you sign these teams and you waste your money. And basically you're telling them, oh yeah, you can just do this all the time. And this is the a la Ben Simmons saga.
Yeah, but you see what's happening with Ben Simmons. He's stuck. He ain't going anywhere. They're not going to sell him for
they're not going to sell
10 cents on the dollar.
And they went back to finding him.
Right. And then he's going to come back and say, well, I released my records and I don't
talk about that. Like, is that not crazy? Like I don't know how you guys really feel. Is he really going through some mental stuff or not? Who knows? But if he is, how do you think finding this guy is really helping that cause?
I mean, but he could say mentally
applying his records basically. So the 76ers said, we want you to provide your medical records that you've been going and seeing a medical professional or come see our medical professional.
No, they wanted it to be their professional and then release it. So he went to a medical professional.
He went to the NBA.
He did on his own, but they didn't get clearance for their team records with the person that they use, and that was the problem. and he didn't agree to want to go. And now I guess he's finally relenting on that. But at the end of the day, he can say, "Oh, I'm having anxiety because
I can't shoot the damn ball."
No, like he could say, I'm
Pressure
having
to play.
anxiety because of the pressure of last season and just kind of how the offseason press conference goes or whatever. He could say whatever he wants
Oh, they
and
destroyed
get
the
around
Warriors.
it because of the CBA.
Yeah.
Like it could not be pressure of playing himself
But what I'm
because,
saying is they should.
I mean,
build
he
that
could
into
turn around and
contracts.
go to the Cavs and ball out and be fine. Like, you don't know. Like, but at the end of the day, in this situation, and I'm not defending him because I think he's wrong in the situation. You can't play like shit and then turn around and say, "Oh, I just don't want to be here." Like you can't have it like both ways. Like you're not going to get traded for full value when you tank your own value. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. Like they have these players are signing these contracts. Like Ben Simmons, how much did he sign for? 5 years, 100.
But at the end of the day, take away the guaranteed contract.
Those are two separate issues.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was leading to. Take away the guaranteed contracts. If you want to have these players negotiate,
it's 2 years guaranteed when you come in with 2 option years.
Yeah, exactly.
For any draft picks.
Your issue, Henry, is separate from what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a player getting there and being unhappy. I'm saying let's stop pretending like these players talk to each other and talk to teams. Ben Simmons is not on the phone talking to another team saying to get me out of here. He's just decided he don't want to play for the 76ers.
Actually, there's a rumor he's talking to Boston now. There's a rumor.
I mean, to be honest,
that got shot down.
No,
he's not.
That ain't happening. That didn't make any damn sense, regardless. Anyway,
if Philly got him having mental health problems, imagine what's going to happen in Boston, bro.
It's like
don't want him in Boston.
What I'm talking about is like any one of us could do it. Any one of us could say we're at a job and want to go to another place.
Yeah,
you don't get fired for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like with Ben Simmons, at this point, it doesn't matter what team he like picks him up. It's just that he wants out.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll go play in Sacramento and be happy, but I'm not taking Marvin Bagley back.
I feel like if he was on any other team, a deal would have got done already. But I think because who that GM is, he's literally asking for the world, bro. And we're like,
well, it's Daryl Morey. He's going to try to fleece everybody in the rim. It's like Danny Ainge. You should know that. Like Danny Ainge is going to. They're the two most one-sided for us, or it ain't happening.
Yeah,
you know, that's how it was.
Hey, Danny
he might be worse than Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge the crap that they're coming out saying he was asking for it, and all the team got to say is, bro, we haven't even seen Simmons play. There's no film or nothing. Simmons, we don't know what we're getting from this dude. You want me to give you my whole roster?
He got his training videos. Stop hating, okay?
Daryl Morey wanted 3.
Bro, everybody got training videos, and then when the season starts, they don't do none of them damn moves.
All right, that's what. See, all right. That's what I was saying. All right, and I'm gonna about Carmelo. About Carmelo. No, wait, no, wait. Time out.
He's the second hardest 3-point shooter in the NBA right now.
I'm out. That's what I was saying about Carmelo the past like 2 or 3 years. You know, he would go hard in the summer. Season starts, but this season he's balling out. You know what I'm saying?
Because he was in.
He did all right last year with Portland. He did all right.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete. And he did get in the bubble too.
Yeah, he did all right. I'm not gonna hate on him for that.
He
was in a better complimentary role because he finally accepted to come off the bench.
Right.
I think that was always the biggest obstacle of like, all right, I'm not number one. And once he mentally, because it does take to a point where if you're a starter and all of a sudden your ass has to hit the bench, it's different to adjust to.
For sure.
That's
at any level. Collegiate level, high school, anywhere.
All I know is I'm ready for Ben Simmons to play on a new team, start popping those threes like nothing.
That's not fun.
I don't think it's going to happen until mid-December, if at all. But I don't see him going. It's not going to be the deal people think like, all right, well, Portland's struggling, so they're going to give up Dame. It ain't happening.
No.
They'll be lucky to get a Buddy Hield like package.
Portland just always has an injury bug, bro. I feel bad for them.
I mean,
last year was Nurkic, rather.
Nurkic, yeah.
He's always injured.
But at the end of the day, they don't build any depth on the team, and now they got a
they got some depth. They got what's that?
Who?
Somebody on their bench.
Ben McLemore.
There you go.
Nasir Little.
There you go.
Cody Zeller.
They was offering the
Tony Snell.
They bought him in.
Are we getting any better as we go along?
Tony Snell
is solid.
Anthony Simons
are not ringing any bells. Well, Anthony Simons.
Do you know how hard it is to play a game and get no stats? The only person to do that this year was Bradley.
That's their bench. Like their bench ain't scaring it. Dennis Smith Jr. Let's go on your fourth team, third
He's
team,
solid,
fourth
bro.
team,
That's a
fourth
former
team.
Knick.
Hey,
He's
guess what?
solid.
I'm
Don't
at
disrespect
Hey,
a
him.
point.
come on.
I'm at a point before we go to the next topic. Danny Ainge making a comeback. He can go to Portland.
Nah, that ain't. That ain't gonna work. They're gonna have to. They're gonna get somebody that's tied into.
He's
Really
late for
quick,
Portland.
Tied into
Danny
the
Ainge
organization
had
somehow.
all the chips in his hand, and he just like I don't know.
Yeah, but he wasn't gonna do CJ like that. I think was the biggest thing.
Who dropped the bag harder, Dennis Schroeder or Danny Ainge?
Danny Ainge by far.
Danny Ainge, countless times he could have moved multiple
by
assets.
far.
I mean, the
Honestly,
only good
Celtics
move
could
that he
only
did
chip
make
that,
is
but-
Tatum and he
Yeah,
didn't
I'm gonna let you
whip on
defend
Markel
yourself,
Fultz.
man. I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
defend
Like that was their.
yourself.
He
because
can't
I
defend it.
really. What do you mean? Like to me, it's like, bro, where did he fumble? Y'all tell me what offer at any
Just
trade
holding on to
deadline.
draft picks for so long.
I had to
He
take the
should have.
headphones
He
off.
could
Okay,
have.
hold it on to draft
few
picks. Cool, but
instances.
let's be real. Everybody that calls Boston, not just this year, not just last year, even the year before, always wanted Tatum or Brown. Smart, we get it. You can move Smart if the deal's right. The only time I could say he really fumbled would be maybe if that Indiana Pacers deal was true, like they wanted just Smart and I think some picks for Turner. Then I would have been cool with that because we needed a big really bad last year, but he didn't put a plug on that. But besides that, I've never seen no real live, like legit, this was the trade and he turned down because it's just like, bro, like you said, the best thing he did was turn those early draft picks he got from the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, whatever, into Jaylen Brown, Romeo, and Tatum, right? And Rob, and they all turned out to be good picks.
All right, how about the rumor trade? You know, with
I don't deal with
James
rumors.
Harden.
I don't
don't
do
do the
rumors.
rumor
I don't.
trades,
It's
'cause
rumors.
you just said, what
Every
if?
team got a rumor trade, especially when it came to Harden. Everybody was in that race. Harden wasn't gonna. How was Harden gonna fit with Boston, bro?
No, I was just asking.
You make it
Bro,
work.
he was not helping Boston last year.
You just
With
make
the
it
way
work.
that team was.
Harden ain't helping nobody right now. He's fat Harden.
Last year,
I mean, he's just playing timid.
he's starting to find his way now because he
That's
really
true.
couldn't. He
You heard
really
Scottie-
couldn't work on nothing
You heard
during
what
the
Scottie
season.
Pippen? You heard what Scottie Pippen said? Scottie Pippen destroyed that man.
Man, Scottie Pippen's off of that
Scottie
new
is
stuff.
Pippen is in
Scotty's
his
on some
bag.
new drugs. He's
Yeah,
going
word.
through a
Ever
midlife
since-
crisis. You seen his hair.
Ever since the shit
Bro.
with Future and shit. So
I don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
know.
Then he lost.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're not gonna talk about that.
She out here being a thought using that man's last name. He got a reason to be upset. All right. He's still calling
God.
herself Larsa Pippen. He got a
So
reason to be upset.
what's our
That's
what's
his
our
business.
last
No,
topic?
it's pimping. She pimping.
I got a
That's
question.
what it is.
Yeah, that's why she kept the last name.
Because she pimping.
Akeem, our last topic speaks of beef that's going on anyway, so might as well talk about that.
The brother beef, the
Yep.
Jokic brothers versus the Morris brothers on Twitter. They pulling
It
up
was
courtside at
entertaining,
games. They throwing hands.
but it's staying on Twitter. Twitter
they
fingers is not
nowhere,
turning to
man.
nothing else.
Like,
It
They
can't
said they
because
gonna be
then they're gonna
courtside.
lose their brother from being a millionaire. Because if anything happens, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna cause your brother
so
money, all types of crap, and then same thing with the Morris.
I don't
can't
get
really
it.
do
So
nothing.
like the Morris brothers, like the worst thing they've seen is like, I would say what, I mean, I haven't been in like lived in Philly in years, but I would say like what
Street
North Central and
violence.
Nicetown are still like probably the two worst areas. So like that's the worst they've seen versus Jokic and the Serbian mafia that makes dudes like disappear in acid. Like,
Shit.
I mean, come on. So like
stuff you only see in
either way,
movies
it's going to
and
be
Netflix
really
TV
bad
shows.
if something does happen. Like it's going to end up being either a wire situation on one side where you're going to have some gang shootout, or it's going to be you find like one of the Morris twins like burned in a bathtub in acid, like bad.
Oh,
You
God.
can't go that far on either side. So it's
That's
not
what I'm
going to go
saying.
anywhere.
You
It's
can't
just
because
going to be a
it's going to
social
carry over
media
to hurt
beef.
the other brother, the brother that's in the
Right.
NBA. So it's stupid.
So like it's going nowhere. Like, and my thing is like, all right, you had the forearm shiver on Jokic. That stuff happens. Jokic, if it was me, I would have got Morrison waited till the back, and we would have went at it. Like somehow, some way, we would have got into it in the back. I would have let it go in the court because I don't want to lose my money on the court. But you best damn believe you coming out of the like once you come out, you
The locker
dress
room.
walking to the
some
bus, you're gonna
LOKG
get your
stuff.
ass
I'm about
whooped.
the bus waiting for you.
Like,
Locker room, you getting
Yeah.
hands.
I
Yeah,
just,
you
I
need to-
just see the problem with that is I
yeah.
just don't think-
Akeem, I wanted to hear your take on that because I know you
I don't
felt
think
passionate about that.
Nikola Jokic is built like that. I think
Yeah.
that's why his brothers are the way they are.
Neither
If
is
anybody
would
neither is,
know
neither is
him,
Morris, bro.
it would
Morris
be
is all
his
talk
brother.
too.
Like,
Right.
like when he did the haymaker low key on Cameron Payne, they wanted to smoke, and Cameron Payne was on the floor. Like he wasn't even trying to fight. Cameron Payne was on the floor for like 5 minutes. And they was acting like they was about to throw hands. Nobody was about to throw
Yeah.
hands on the floor.
Cameron
you're
Payne
saying
saw his
this
career
is
flash
good
before his
old,
eyes.
that's my little brother.
Yeah,
We'll
this is
fight
what-
for him, and he
yeah.
knows those my
Yeah.
big brothers at
Yeah.
every game, wherever I'm
They
at.
got
They
my
gonna
back,
fight for me.
exactly.
So I'm gonna
Right.
act. I'm gonna poke my chest out. But I'll put it this way: they lose leverage because he came out and said, "I didn't realize Morris's neck snapped back like that. So I definitely do apologize for that. That was bad." And once he said that, it's like it should have got deaded. There goes an apology. That's that. I know Morris was tight and he wanted to act right away, but bro, he had whiplash. Like he got up after asking Tyler Hero, who was the first person right there who wanted to do something, but he thought about it. He made a really good decision to just fall back because his scrawny ass had nothing to do with that. So he asked him, he was on the floor. If you look at it, and he asked him who was it, and then he told him who it was, and he went to go get up and just went back down because he's like, I really can't stand up. He's probably woozy, whatever. But the best thing for everybody to do is get their popcorn, look at the schedule. Whenever they play each other again, you watch it. It's gonna be a flagrant somewhere, or is it already over? They already played each other twice.
No, they played it on the 30th, I think. Wasn't it the 30th?
Oh, New Year's
They play again?
It's November, Soto.
November
Oh,
30th.
no, I thought it was. Yo, bro, you know what's crazy? I thought we were in December.
Yeah,
How you gonna skip over Thanksgiving like that, bro?
My fault.
You look like turkey.
My fault. It's the Alabama Kush. I'm sorry.
It's the Alabama because you don't even smoke.
29th, November 29th. And
November
they play in
29th.
Miami.
All right.
And they play in Miami.
yeah.
Okay, so everybody tune into that game. I guarantee you, even though the NBA don't want to promote violence, they're gonna somehow have that game televised. There's gonna be some chippiness, maybe a flagrant or a technical here and there, but that's it. And it's gonna die there. That's it.
My thing is like everybody attacked Jokic and whatnot. Listen, it was
Morris had that coming. He's been getting away with that
right,
for years.
But the fact is that Morris walked off, assuming he wasn't going to do anything. It's like, don't hit me dirty and then turn your back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, like Shaq said.
Yeah,
like Shaq
so
said. He's
that's
like,
what
bro.
I'm saying. That's why people think he's built like that. So that's why he thought he could hit him. And it's like, I hate going to shit.
Man,
normally Jokic doesn't do anything. Like normally when he gets hit, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but Jokic worked. I remember Jokic said he worked on a lot of stuff in his game over the summer, including the mental aspect of the game. He said that he didn't want to be bullied around, treated like he was soft and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you don't just develop a trait of, I'm going to fight somebody like that. It's either there or it's not.
No, I watched that.
I don't think he was trying to fight him.
Bam
I think he
was
defended himself because of
shit
the
out
hit.
of him the whole game. Okay, Bam was grabbing his jersey. He was smacking him, pushing him.
It didn't work. They whooped their ass that game. That's why I always did the cheap shot.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like the mindset of like, if you're saying, I'm not going for that no more.
I'm gonna insert this. I'm gonna insert this.
I'm not gonna let anybody purposely foul me.
I'm gonna say this one thing, and y'all gonna agree with me. Ron Artest entered the chat. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ron Artest would have done like he did to James Harden. I'm not condoning that.
No. Ron Artest fearing everybody. Tyler Hansbrough.
I'm probably gonna be that guy.
He was like, all right, I'm good.
I'm probably gonna be that guy. But
So those hot take.
Right after the hit, right? Jimmy Butler, right? Waited till Jokic was all the way in the bench to start.
He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, he didn't see it. That's why I don't like that take.
But he still ain't gonna do anything. Like, I'm sorry. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, Jimmy came from nowhere. Like, whatever. I'm like,
Jimmy ain't gonna do it.
I just don't see that.
No. That's the wrong person to attack. Let's attack Hero and Lowry because that picture. Or supposed picture.
Hero out there looking like Jack Harlow in a music video, like what's popping, and I'm like, dude, what you do? Like, what are you doing?
Morris and Butler, and was it Bam or was it just them right there?
I'm surprised Lowry did
Bam. I don't know, Lowry, you weren't even part of it. Just go. Butler started talking crazy, and nobody was even paying him no mind. The joke was
Duncan
sitting down on
Robinson
the
wasn't
bench.
nowhere around. He knew better.
Bam was
like,
he's like, I'm white. I'm getting out of this. Like, I can't.
Butler didn't see it. So what Butler did was he had his back turned because he's thinking nothing of it. I think he was just getting back, whatever. And then when he looked up and seen the replay to him, he's just like, damn, bro, like that's just a dirty play. Like you just don't do that.
Yeah,
I thought Haslam's old ass was gonna storm in the court.
Yo, Haslam was
Hey,
Haslam
Haslam's
was-
strong though. He's got that
Haslam's
country.
really
Yeah,
a-
Haslam
Yeah,
was that life.
that's
Haslam's
Yeah,
the only
he's
guy
country
that can go in the
strong,
game
too.
for
Haslam's
20
really
seconds and then get thrown out the game in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Because he don't like
I
that.
wouldn't mess
He
with
don't like that
Haslam or
these young
James
guys are
Haslam
Johnson.
bumping
wanted to
him.
smoke.
No,
I think
James
what
Johnson.
Jokic's problem is.
James
I said
Johnson
it to
get
my-
the give
I said to my pops one time. It's like Jokic is like Patrick Ewing was. And there's no disrespect to Patrick. He's a great Nick. But Patrick wasn't an enforcer.
The
Like, he's
great
not
Nick,
out
but
there.
he's from Boston. So watch what you
Everybody
say.
not like that, right?
Everybody always go after
But
Patrick.
Charles
for it.
Oakley
Fuck.
Ain't
was
that
that
crazy?
guy. Like Charles
Ain't
Oakley
that
was
crazy?
the guy that
One of the
like,
greatest Knicks is from Boston.
Yo, wait, why everybody always go after Pat for it? Like, what the fuck?
But I'm saying though, but he had Charles Oakley to defend him. Like if somebody hard
Right.
fouled
So you got
Patrick,
an enforcer.
somebody came in. If I'm
He had the
we're talking
enforcer.
about the Miami Heat, right?
Mhm.
Barton, you dapped them. You over there dapping up Jokic. You ain't move when Markieff Morris hip check Jokic. What the hell you dapping me up for? I'm like, fuck my
Yeah,
face.
but
You
look at
dapping me
how
up.
big Will
Yeah.
Barton is. Like one little push and he's gonna snap in half.
I'm
So
But like,
I mean, you seen Will Barton's legs? Like he gets one push, those things are breaking in half.
but I'm saying like somebody on the Nuggets got to protect him because it's like Jokic not out here
Who?
trying to put his hands. So it's like somebody's got to be that guy. That's like Aaron Gordon. You're not doing shit anyway. Why don't you?
Nah,
come in and
he's
protect
too
him?
high, so he ain't. You better go get Rocky to go help him, Rocky the Mountain Lion. He'd be about your best defense out of the guys they got on the Nuggets.
So, or give one of his brothers a 10-day contract like Giannis's brothers did, and let him go.
You
out
better
there
hope
and
you
put
got
his
the.
hands on it.
You better hope the Suns and 4 guy like transferred his fanship to Denver for a game or two. Like at least can do something because
Hands.
yeah, something because you don't have much on that team to defend you. Like Jamal Murray ain't coming out there defending you because he's hurt, so he ain't gonna risk another injury.
He gonna come out with crutches like this.
Yeah, his,
I mean-
his he ain't even stable on 2 feet yet. He just learning how to get that strength back. Won't push.
What you gonna do?
Get
Get Bobo out there? Bobo's what 7'2", 190 or
And a
something? Like
toothpick.
I mean, come on.
I'm just throwing some
Like,
options out
great.
there.
He's like,
All right.
That shit, that
I'm throwing some
toothpick
options
is
out
gonna
there. I'm throwing some options. Somebody got to help Jokic so he don't get to the point where he gets that.
that's what it is. That's who
oh look, perfect.
he
This
is for that
this
team.
this
He's the enforcer for that team.
This is Bobo.
so.
Look, this is Bobo. He goes out there.
But at the same time, the Morris twins have a rep for being sore losers, and that was just a sore loser play. And that's what I feel like people aren't talking about. That when you have your arms up like this, what she was just bullshitting, shooting a half-court shot, whatever, but you're exposed. We see it happen in football all the time. Wide receivers who play slot, they don't really want to get the ball in the middle of the field, blindsided, not knowing who, so they catch it like this. And sometimes they drop it like that. But if they ever have to extend, they're pissed because their ribs are open, and no matter what type of hit you get, it's gonna hurt. So to have that close contact where you're not wearing padding like a football player, and they get a rib to your rib cage, an elbow to your rib cage, is like, damn, okay. So I get why he got mad and why he reacted.
Yeah, no, like a simple
I'm not-
foul, like a slap on the wrist, you know.
Yeah, or a wrap up.
Yeah, but the forearm shiver was a little much. But
Yeah.
they also have a history of assault. Like
Exactly, and
they
like I
almost
said, being
went to
sore
jail.
losers.
Like they almost went. Like they were in like federal court and almost like actually did jail time because they beat that dude so bad, like over I
Yeah.
guess a drug deal
yeah,
going bad.
bad or whatever.
And I'm like, y'all didn't learn. Like you can't be doing that shit in the limelight. Like.
yeah.
Do what you want, like out of the public spotlight, but don't do it on the court. Like, get the guy afterwards if you're going to do something. Like, I hate all that talking. Like, let me jump in your face and talk. Like, if you're going to lose money, make that shit worth it. Throw hands and beat that dude
Yeah,
to
you're
the
gonna
ground
get
to where
fined
he can't
anyway,
move.
or suspended anyway.
And Gobert did. Don't hug each other.
Yeah, oh man, that was
That
the worst
tussle.
thing. I'm like, dude, you sitting there like, what are we having? Like a strong arm contest of both y'all weak as hell. So like,
Ain't really
sitting there
no
like
hug
trying to
each
body each other. Like,
They having a tug of war tickle fest there.
Gobert
It's like
talk
Dancing
about
with the
people
Stars,
gotta start
like-
acting like they about their life. Like, whoa, wait a minute.
Dancing
Come
with the
on.
stars. Oh my
You
god.
didn't throw no
I
hands
don't know.
either.
That's what this era of the NBA is, though. It's just a bunch of talk, not really much going on.
And
Besides
that's the
the
thing.
few
None of that would have
that
went
are there.
anywhere.
Your Rondos, your Morrises. I guess you could throw the Joker in there, but that's about Patrick Beverly. There's a few that are still left that would do that. Marcus Smart would do some stupid shit like that, but it's just like besides those that him, bro, it's dead. It's just straight chit chat, and then at the end of the game, we're gonna go handshake, pat each other's butts. Good game, bro. I'll see you next time. Like, I mean, that's what it comes. That's what it is, though.
Everybody's friends.
As a current player, right? You're playing in your league. Somebody elbows you right in the ribs.
You just get that shit back on another play.
I'm getting him back. I'm getting him back right there.
Listen,
bro.
I did.
I'm getting him back right there.
I remember when I
you see that thing where the girl in the court, like I guess she had missed she missed the three. It was in a youth game.
That
she
was
punched
a
the girl
daughter.
right in the face.
She's a daughter of a former NBA player. They didn't say what
Corey
NBA
Benjamin's
player.
daughter.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, she
it was Corey Benjamin's.
She laid her out.
She
flopped.
Yeah, so the girl was defender. Corey Benjamin's daughter missed the three. She launched like a deep three.
She felt like she got fouled, I think, right?
Yeah, she felt like she got fouled. The girl that was playing defense was like some little skinny girl, whatever. She went down the court and she was like, what is happening? Like, why are you fouling me? Because I guess she bumped her. She got up like off the 3-point miss. And then Corey Benjamin's ex-wife, which is the girl's mother, yelled, "You better hit her back." And then when she yelled that, Corey Benjamin's daughter sucker punched her in the face, knocked her flat.
Yeah,
like,
literally like she was laid out. Like
and that was a second time.
It was a blindside hit too, so that's not
in
good.
6 months that she had punched the girl in the face. She got in a fight with 2 other girls in a game.
She's a big girl.
Yeah, she was big.
She is big. She is.
She didn't even touch her on the contact. When I saw the video, she didn't touch her on the contact. It looked like it was a foul, but then she flopped down on the floor, and then she got mad from what I saw. She looked like
blame the cover NBA for that. Everybody wants to call. Everybody's flopping.
Right.
Everybody thinks they deserve that all-star call. It's bad, bro.
I mean, that girl's mom that was filming that, like, she had some restraint. Because if I was that girl's mom, I would have knocked that girl's ass across the court. You hit my kid like that.
Well, it depends. Like, maybe that girl's mom ain't that big. Maybe she just knew she was.
I don't give a damn how big you are. You finna get knocked out.
Like as a family, you already took 1 L. You can't take 2 L. Now, everybody taking that minivan ride home to the ER. We all got punched by the same girl in the face. Everybody got an ice pack.
Think about it as a dad.
What Kevin Hart say? You taking a loss as a family now?
You got your little man too. And so think about it like that. If somebody did that to your little man, and somebody did that to mine, they're gonna my wife's gonna be the first one knocking the fucking somebody out.
Yeah, I'm dating a Hispanic woman. You know, I don't even gotta do nothing. She beating me to it. She beating me to it.
Shit, listen, somebody mess with my little man. My wife's gonna be the first one there. She gonna be like, "What you
having
do?"
A boxing lesson, like you got
no.
hands ready.
All jokes aside, though, Pete's absolutely right. She should have defended her daughter point blank.
And even if you got up and confronted the girl or something, not just sat there.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I mean, I guess it would have been worse if the mom got knocked out too, like right after, like he got up and confronted her and the mom got knocked out.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
that would be silly, bro.
So maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe she was better just to sit.
Go to her mom, because
let the lawsuits get the last laugh.
right. Yeah.
Oh, a former NBA player's daughter, right? Okay.
I hate to laugh at that, but that would have been really bad. Like if she got knocked out and then her mom got knocked out like a foot away from her, and they both just laid out on the court. Like I don't condone that. Anybody watching, but
no,
that would have been a world star video for sure.
Absolutely.
Shit.
Because the voiceovers would have been elite.
Oh, the voiceovers would have been.
You know, somebody in the crowd would have yelled, "What star?" Right. that would have made it.
Big comedy is what that would have been.
Yeah.
So. But to get to our conclusion, anybody got some closing thoughts? I know P shared a knockout video story. That's all.
Shit, I don't got nothing today, man.
You got it back in blood.
No.
How about them 4-9 Hawks? That's my closing.
Ice Tray got to get it together over there.
I mean, they've lost 6 in a row, so.
Hey, it happens, bro. It's that type of season. They'll get it together because you guys do got good pieces. That's why I kept telling.
Don't say you guys. Say them.
Them. My fault. They'll get it together.
We done lost 4 in a row. We ain't that bad yet. We getting there, but we ain't.
No,
Knicks-
but
Knicks
but
have
your
lost a
guys
bunch, too.
actually stepping up. You guys Philly almost beat Milwaukee. You guys should have beat Milwaukee, but had some bad plays down the stretch. I watched that game. I was actually shocked.
Mhm.
No,
when I
by the
watched
end of the
that
year,
game.
you guys are going to probably like everybody. It's going to be a
It's gonna balance
4-on-1
out.
gang up of be a Hawks fan. Go ahead and convert to be a Hawks fan. It's going to be a
It's
4-on-1
gonna
gang
balance
up.
out. All our teams are gonna be fine, and we're gonna be able to talk so much shit to each other during the playoffs. That's why I'm not really. Philly's gonna be fine. New York's gonna be fine. Soto, yeah, you're a New York fan. I don't. Do you want me to talk about your Spurs?
Spurs
No.
Do you want me to talk about your? Okay.
You're not claiming
No.
this year.
Nah,
Your Lakers will
me-
be fine, Keem. I heard LeBron's almost back,
Yeah, he needs to
and
come
Boston
back.
will be
Well, that's
fine.
what you got. I mean-
Ime shows more emotion, bro. He don't want to throw no challenges out there. He don't want to get a technical. He more nonchalant than Brad Stevens, but I'm not gonna even go on that right now. We're just gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna just let it
He
build
gets
up.
to go home to knee alone though, so he's all right.
he's a
He
winner.
do gets to get
He's a winner.
He's winning.
So
every
he
game.
wins in my book for that. So
He
you're
always
good right
wins?
there.
do the game yesterday. I don't know why he wanted to sit the whole team yesterday. Because
Maybe he wanted to get
they
home
couldn't
quicker.
close out a game on Friday versus the Bucks. Oh well, that's their punishment. Now you got to go play Cleveland tomorrow. That's your fault for not closing out the game. I went to go turn on the game. The whole damn team sitting.
Mhm.
I'm like, what the hell am I watching right now?
I
Should
wonder
we
if they
had
get
to go
like
for 30 again?
But
Not
you
that
got to
I
get
wanted.
like one of those texts like during the game, like, hey, you know what's coming when you get home. Like Ime gets one of them texts. He's like, all right, boys, we sitting them.
they on the road, so he def getting some text now.
Yeah.
And a jersey.
no, but
And a Celtics jersey.
I'll close out, with saying in regards to in Celtics, much kudos to Schroeder. He's been killing it lately, so he's really working for that contract. I mean, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, then yeah, you know what? Like he expect the contract at the end of the season. So
I've been saying it since they signed him. I said it here. One of the last episodes I was on before I took my mini break that he needs to start. Like people were like, "Oh no, it's gonna be smart," and then no, he needs to start because they might hate the fact that he comes to the ball after every rebound, but that's what a good guard does because they rather you go run and get your easy buckets. That's what he does. Like even when he's hot, he still defers to Brown, to Tatum. He got chemistry with Horford, who also starts, so I think could come off the bench.
yeah,
And-
the only thing with him is the turnover issues, but
it's like for every 3 good plays, he has a bonehead play, kind of like a Kyle Kuzma. Like
So-
he'll come down court and do some stupid stuff, and you'd be like, "Bro, what was?"
I started it too. I feel bad.
He
now,
started
'cause
it,
it's
so I gotta
been
pick
on
it
the
back
whole
up.
episode.
You
Bro,
got a
just
ring
like-
out here in these streets. I gotta put.
He
some
do
respect
got a
on
ring.
his name.
Because Braun.
I mean, so does Darko Milicic, but like he got a ring
He had
by
mental health
association.
Issues. He had mental health issues, so we're gonna leave that. I mean, he did.
The only thing that I'd say on the Celtics is has a player fallen off faster, and it's not just Celtics related because it was happening before this. Has a player fallen off faster than Josh Richardson? Because I mean, he went from like,
bro,
I mean, it's bad.
He should have
it's-
stayed in Dallas. He should have stayed in Dallas.
I don't see. I like him for the Celtics, and I think he's playing well. What I think is that, I don't know. Again, they got to figure it out, bro. It's like they haven't really had a full roster besides I think one game. Like now, Jaylen Brown was out for 1 or 2 weeks with the hamstring, so it falls right back into not having a full roster. Same problems early on last year, so he doesn't really have a chance to get that right rotation in. But Richardson, I'm on that bandwagon just like with Shooter, bro. They both play well. He was playing great until I think he had a hamstring problem or a foot problem. I think it was an ankle, and then kind of lost his way in the rotation when he came back because all of a sudden, what's his name decided to hit some damn shots. Oh man, I can't even think of his name because he don't even play. Like the rotation is
Romeo
all over
Langford?
the place. No, not Romeo. Part of it's Romeo.
Neesmith.
Neesmith?
Yeah, because then
Yeah,
Neesmith
but
hit some
Neesmith's
shots.
struggling
all of
too.
a sudden,
And he's a Celtic fan.
So that because, bro, I'm not really a fan of him. I'm really not, especially when you bring Richardson in. I would think like Pete and you're saying and Soto saying like, bro, why don't you play Richardson more? Because he's a better defender, he's more experienced, and he's knocking down. He knocks down his shots when he gets the ball. It's just like smart said.
Listen,
I hate
I
to
think-
be right.
I
There's
think
no
he'll become a
rotation,
fan of
bro.
his. I
There's
think
no
he'll become a fan of his. It was like me with the Knicks. I always hated Theo Pinson, and once he joined the Knicks, I was a fan.
Yeah. I like what he does. I just think he just got to find his way in the rotation again. I don't know why one game it's a good rotation, and then the next game it's you got all, I don't want to call them bums, but the end of the bench players in.
Wait a minute. Those are your first round picks over there.
Bro, Pritchard ain't been the same since last year,
round picks,
and they're playing Pritchard crazy. They love Romeo. That's from Brad. We know that. Which is from Ainge, who's not there no more, but it went from Ainge to Brad, who Brad's still there. So they love Romeo. Cool.
So you're not a fan of Grant Williams either?
I thought we were supposed to end this like 14 minutes ago, but I'm not.
Let's end it now.
This isn't my therapy session. I'm good. I'm good.
One last thing, though. This is just for Pete. Shout out to the Dallas Mavericks. They are currently 5th. I mean, I know he's such a big Jason Kidd fan over there.
I'm shocked though. Like, I'm shocked. I did have them finish in 3rd, but then I was like, that's if everything went well, and stuff hasn't been going well for them. But I think it's more of a proponent of other teams aren't that great either. The Lakers, obviously, injuries and stuff like that. Like Portland, up and down with injuries. I don't know. I just feel like it's not going to last. I mean, call me crazy, but I could see them still finishing top, 5. But I don't know. Jason Kidd's kind of backed off of those weird rotations. He kind of kept with Jalen Brunson as your lead guy off the bench with Reggie Bullock coming off the bench. So he's kind of toned down on those wacky trying to figure out rotations. It's just, I don't think at this point, if with Porzingis, it's going to get much better.
I mean,
So it's kind of like you got what you got. So
the season's averaging 17-7. So
I mean that's about what it's going to be. I mean, they just got to be okay with that.
He's not going to be a 20-10 type of guy anymore because of the injuries.
No, I don't think he would be a good rebounder anyway, just because he doesn't like to stay inside much.
So 17-7, that's a solid, reliable option right now, especially if he had Gaze, he'd go for 20, 30. Like the other night, they both had 32. Luka Doncic and Porzingis. I forgot they played, but I know they both had 32. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode. I mean, it was longer than normal. We took a little bit of a longer break in between and had a little bit more topics. We were having a little bit of fun at the end, giving Ant a hard time with his Celtics. But it's all good. It's all love. It's all love, bro. It's all love over there. At least you're not going bald, right? You see, your hair is full, so you're not getting stressed by your team over there in the streets.
That'd probably be me going bald, but it's all good.
Nah, you all right. You just gotta get the 4 Hims Rogaine, one of those, and you be good. or get the man unit. Just shave the middle and get the man unit. You be spinning out here in these streets. Won't tell the difference. All right. Or get the Soto Caesar with the freshie with the lineup on the side. But like I said, that's the end of this week's episode. If you missed any part of the episode, you catch it on our YouTube channel, Sounds of the Hardwood. If you prefer to listen to our audio version of the podcast, we post that on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And like always, we out.